I'm having around 7+ years of experience as a technical trainer. Okay, I'm having 7+ years of experience as a technical trainer. I'm dealing with the subjects called Python, Java, and Big Data Hadoop. Okay, so I'm the OCJP certified professional. I think you aware of this Oracle certified Java programmer. Okay, so I'm giving the trainings for the students in India and for the US students as well with this multiple technologies. So I'm dealing with Python, Java, and Big Data Hadoop. Okay, so this is the brief introduction about me. So let's go into the demo class for the Python. Okay, so we just want to learn the Python programming language. Okay, so there are so many programming languages. Okay, we have C, C++, Java, .NET, Python. Okay, there are so many programming languages, but still we are thinking of to learn the Python programming language. Okay, so before actually getting into the Python programming language, I just want to discuss what is the programming language and how we are going into the programming language and how we are learning the things and all, so that we can understand much better what actually we are trying to learn. Okay, so first I just want to discuss a few minutes about the language and the machine language, that is the programming language. First I'll discuss about the language. Okay, so as we know the language we have, okay, different kind of languages are there. So the language in between two persons. Okay, this is we are communicating between person to person. So as if we know we have different kind of languages, English language, Hindi language, okay, Telugu language, Marathi, and so on. What actually we are trying to do? Okay, so the best example in this session, I'm communicating with you. In the sense, I'm communicating a person to person. Okay, in between there is a language which is we are using English language. So for each and every language, we have set of instructions are there. Okay, what are the set of instructions? The set of instructions by using tenses and all, I'm forming a sentence. Okay, so by using this sentence, you can able to understand the same language. The thing is, whatever the language I'm using, okay, which having the set of instructions, the other side person also can able to understand the same language which having the set of instructions. Okay, So here the languages we have, example, we have English, Hindi, okay, Telugu, and so on. These kind of languages that we are using to communicate in between person to person. Okay, this is one thing which having the set of instruction, the same set of instruction need to be understand by one person and the other person as well. So if there are equal, okay, set of instruction which having the same language, then the person can able to communicate easily. So there is no communication gap in between two persons. In the same manner, there is a computer language is there. Okay, there is a computer language. So what we are doing over here in the sense, a person or else a programmer is trying to communicate with the computer or machine. Okay, so what actually we are trying to do in the sense, we are trying to communicate with the computer. Okay, not to the person, with the computer. So here definitely there is a challenge that we need to, I mean, whatever the language that we are using need to be understand by the computer as well. Got it? So for that we use translators. Okay, we use translators in between the person and computer. So generally the person use the high level programming language. Okay, the person use high level language. Okay, the person uses the high level language, which is the communication part, like we are using the English language. But the computer understands only the binary language, binary code, or else binary language, we can say. Okay, there is a challenge like how to communicate the high level language that person is using to the computer, which only can understand the binary language. So the binary language, it includes 0 and 1s. Okay, for that we use the translators. For that we use the translators. Okay, so I just give some a small example here. A small example. Here I'm writing set of instructions that is in high level language, set of instruction that is in high level language. A equals to 10, okay, B equals to 20, and C equals to A plus B, okay, and I'm printing the result, print of C. Okay, what I'm writing here in the sense, here I'm writing the high level language which can be understandable by the person or programmer. Okay, so we are writing these set of instructions. Okay, we are writing this set of instruction as a program and we are submitting to the computer or machine. But this high level programming, this high level language cannot understand by the computer. By the computer, it understands only the binary language, which is we need to convert the binary language. So this statement, okay, we call this is the statement which we need to convert in terms of zeros and ones. In the same way, the another line that we need to convert in the form of binary code or else a binary language. In the same way, the another line or else another statement that we need to convert into the binary code. Okay, in the same way, so all, okay, the complete statements that we have converted into the binary language or else the binary code which is understandable by the computer. So what are the translators that are going to convert from the high level language into the binary language? In the sense, those are the translators are the compilers and interpreters. Compilers and the interpreters are the translators that are going to convert the high level language into the binary language. Got it? So we are using these compilers and the interpreters to convert the high level language to the binary language so that the computer can able to understand this binary code. It executes the program from top to bottom and it gives the result in again the binary language. Okay, it gives the result after executing the complete business logic. Okay, it gives the result in the binary language, and again that result needs to be converted from the machine understandable code to the user understandable code, that is the high level language. That is the high level language, the result is 30. Okay, the result is 30, which can be understandable by the programmer, right? So this is the computer language. Here we are using the translators. Okay, here we are using the translators, compilers, and the interpreters to convert the high level language into the binary language which can be understandable by the computer. Okay, so this is the basic thing that we need to understand, how we are giving some instructions to the computer and how it is, how it, the computer can able to understand and how it process the complete program and how it will give the output and all. So this is the basic understanding of the computer language. So we have different kind of programming languages. For example, C, C++, okay, .NET, Java, and Python, and so on. So we have so many programming languages are there, but still we just want to learn the Python programming language only. What is the reason? What is the advantage over all these other programming languages? Okay, and why actually we are trying to learn the Python programming language? So nowadays, more than Java programming language, the people are trying to learn Python programming language. Why? Because there there is a lot of advantage by using the Python programming. There is a lot of libraries that are there to use directly in Python programming language, which are not there in any other programming language. So vast kind of libraries are present in Python programming language. That thing we'll see one by one. So the thing is here in a Python programming language, we can able to convert the high-level language into the binary language by using the interpreters. Okay, before going into the interpreter, we just want to see what is the compiler and what is the interpreter. So what are the compile-based programming languages and what are the interpreter-based programming languages? Okay, so first I just write the translators. The translators that we have two types of translators. First thing is the computer compiled. First thing is the compiler, and the second one is interpreter. Compilers and interpreters. Okay, so what are all the compiler-based programming languages in the sense? The best example for compiler-based programming language is C, C++, .NET, and Java. These are all compiler-based programming languages. But the interpreter-based programming language is Python and Java. Okay, Python and Java. Yes, of course, Java is the compiler-based programming language, and Java is also the interpreter-based programming language. Okay, so we are just looking into the Python programming language. Why the Python is the interpreter-based programming language, and what is difference between compiler and the interpreters? Yes, of course, we are just using these two translators. Okay, we are just using these two translators to convert the high-level language, which the programmer writing the code and all, that we are converting into the machine understandable code, which is the binary code. Okay, whatever it may be, that is the compiler and the interpreters. We're just using these two things to convert the high-level language into the machine understandable language. Okay, firstly, we see the compiler. What is the compiler and what is the usage of compiler based programming language? So what is the compiler in the sense it converts, okay, it reads the complete program. It reads the total program at a time. It reads the total program at a time. And of course, whenever we are going with any kind of a programming language, it has the syntactical approach. So the compiler having the same syntactical approach, if whatever the code that we are writing with any kind of programming language, that we need to use this, we need to follow the syntax. Okay, the compiler reads the total program at a time, in the sense if we have, for suppose we have 10 lines of code is there. Okay, the 10 lines of code, that entire code directly it is going to read at a time. Okay, if there are any errors are there, that is the syntax errors. Okay, what it will do, the next thing is it checks the error. The second one about the compiler is it checks the error. What kind of an error? Syntactical error. Okay, the 10 lines of code it reads from top to bottom, and if the 10 lines of code, okay, if the 10 lines of code does not have any error, okay, directly it will execute the program. But if there is any error is there, definitely it will throw the compile time error. It will throw the compile time error by using the compiler. Okay, so if there is an error, definitely it will throw the compile time error. But if there is no compile time error, if there is no syntactical error in your program, okay, what it will do in the sense, okay, if there is no error, what it will do, it converts the high level language, it converts the high level language into the machine understandable language. Okay, so that is the thing. By using the compiler, we can read the total program at a time. Okay, if the okay, what it will do after reading the complete program, it checks the syntactical errors. If there are any syntactical errors, definitely it is going to throw the compile time error. Okay, for suppose if you don't have any error, okay, the syntactical error needs to be checked by the programmer only. The programmer is responsible to handle the compile time errors or the syntactical errors. Okay, so you need to follow the syntax to write any programming language. So after rectifying the error, what it will do in the sense, definitely it is going to convert the high level language into the machine understandable language. So this is the usage of the compiler, and the best example for the compile based programming language are C, C++, .NET and Java. Okay, so now we'll see the interpreter. Okay, what are the interpreter based programming languages? In the sense, here we have Python and Java. Okay, we have Python and Java are the interpreter based programming languages. Okay, what it does, okay, what it is going to do using the interpreters, in the sense, definitely the same thing. It will do the program, but it reads the program line by line. It reads the total, I mean, not the total program. It reads the program line by line. In the sense, if there is an error, if there is a syntactical error at one particular line, for suppose if you are having 10 lines of code, okay, for suppose we have the syntactical error at second line, okay, definitely it is going to throw error at that point of time only. In the sense, it reads the program line by line, and again it checks for the errors line by line. It is going to execute the code, and it checks the errors. Okay, if there is any error is there, okay, immediately it will throw an error at that point of time only. At that point of time, it is going to throw the error. For suppose if we don't have any error, if there is no error, so what it will do, it converts the high level language into machine understandable language. Okay, So what is the difference between compiler and the interpreters in the sense? Compiler reads the total program at a time. Okay, if there is an error in between the complete program, definitely it will throw the compile time error, okay, after executing the complete program. And what it will do in the sense, if there is no error, it converts the high level language into the machine understandable language, that is the binary code. But the interpreters is a different thing. It reads the program line by line. Each and every line it reads, and it will check whether the any syntactical error is there or not. If the syntactical error is there, definitely it will throw an error at that point of time. Okay, but if we don't have any error, okay, it converts the high level language into the machine understandable language. Okay, so we are using the Python programming, we are learning the Python programming language. So we are going to learn the interpreter based programming language. So which is the best, okay, which is the best in between these two programming languages? We see which is the best translator, the compiler or else interpreter. Okay, so generally we use the compiler when the error rate is high. Okay, so if the error rate in the sense, the lines of code that you are writing, okay, in between the syntactical errors which will be arised, okay, that we call it as error rate. So if the error rate is very much high, then we use to learn the compiler based programming languages. Compiler based programming languages. If the error rate is very much low, if the error rate is very much low, what we'll do in the sense, we try to learn the interpreter based programming languages. Interpreter based programming languages, so that we can say the Python is very easy to learn. We don't have that much error rate in our programming. Okay, if you have, okay, in real time you develop 100 lines of code, but compared to Java, okay, the error rate is very much low in interpreter based programming language or Python programming language. So that is the best reason we can say Python is very easy to learn. Very easy to learn. So we have the specific libraries, okay, the predefined functions and the predefined methods and all. So that's why we just want to use those methods and libraries so that the programmer's work is very much easy. So we'll see the practical thing why the Python program is very much easy to learn, and when we compare to other programming languages like C, C++, Java and all. Okay, we see some example. First, we see the Hello World program. Okay, Hello World program. So here I'm writing the Hello World program in Java. I just want to show you how many lines of code is involved to write this basic program in Java. Okay, what we need to do, okay, we need to write public class name. Okay, we need to open the braces, and here we need to write the main method, which is public static void main string array args, which we call it as the main method. Okay, inside the main method that you can write some set of statements. So here I'm writing system dot out dot println to print the description is hello world. So to write the hello world program, we need to write these many lines of code. So here for main method, I'm opening the braces, and here I'm closing the braces. And again, for the class, I'm opening the braces here, and I need to close the braces over here. So around 7 to 8 lines of code is involved to display the basic program to display hello world in Java. Okay, the same thing I'm going to write in Python. The same hello world program in Python. Simple, we just need to print the statement hello world. That's it. Okay, we need to, okay, here we need to mention the semicolon. So here we don't have any semicolons, and we don't have anything that we need to open the braces, and we don't need to write any class. Okay, and we don't need to mention any main method into the Python programming. So we just need to write the print statement, the simple print statement, only one line of code that we write in Python. But whereas in Java, just around 7 to 8 lines of code we need to write to display the hello world. That much of the code decrease is there in Python. Okay, when we compare with any other programming language, and when we compare with the C programming language, C++, okay, everywhere that we need to write around 7 to 8 lines of code. But in Python, simply we use the print, okay, statement to display the hello world. So that much easy. As a freshers, okay, if somebody wants to learn any other programming language, okay, the people see, I mean, in the Java programming language, okay, previously the people will see, I mean, see the Java programming language is the basic programming language, but the prerequisite for the Java programming language is C and C++. Okay, to learn the Java, we need to learn C and C++. But to learn the Python programming language, okay, any the normal, okay, without having any programmatical background, people also directly learn the Python programming language. Okay, there is no prerequisite to learn the Java, to learn the Python programming language. That is the best advantage. We have plenty of libraries and the functions are there in Python. Just we need to understand, okay, the code. And the best part of the Python programming language is the interpreter understands the high level language. So there is no conversion of high level language into the binary code. Okay, previously we saw that we have converted the high level language, into the machine understandable language, right? By using the compilers and all. But here, by using the interpreter, okay, by using the interpreter, it is need not to convert the high level language into the machine language. Why? Because the Python interpreter can able to understand high level language as well. Okay, so it can understands the high level language, so that, okay, what the main thing, if it understands the high level language, in the sense we increase the processing speed. The processing speed is very high when we compare to any other programming language, whether Java, whether C or C++, the processing speed is high. Why the processing speed is high? In the sense, in between, we are not going to convert, okay, the high level language into the machine language. Then it will process the entire code and it will give the output in the machine language. And again, the machine language, okay, the machine understandable language, the binary code needs to be converted, the output into the high level language. So the complete processing, okay, it is not there in high level programming language, which is the interpreter programming language, the Python programming language. That is why the processing speed is very much high when we compare to any other programming language, which is the best, okay, example that we can say why we are learning the Python programming. Directly, it will take the high level language. Okay, directly the interpreter understands the high level language and it executes the business logic. Okay, from top to bottom, the entire result will be given as a output in the console. So directly it will give the high level language as an input to the machine language. I mean to the machine. So directly the software, the Python, yeah. Manas, when we come across with the security, okay, the secure programming language, of course, it is the Java programming language. Okay, why? Because the threading concept, okay, of course, the threading concept is there in Python also, but few libraries are there in the Java programming language. So when we compare this Python and Java, so Java we can say more secure language, but Python is very easy to learn and very much easy to write the code. Okay, so that's why, and it is depends. I mean, the Python programming language is dependent on nowadays the new technologies are coming, right? So the big data, Hadoop, and artificial intelligence. Okay, all these technologies they're using for the Python programming language instead of using Java and Scala. Why? Because there are plenty of libraries are there. Okay, in Python programming language. Okay, I'll just write here the Python libraries. The huge library set are available in Python. So first we have NumPy library, okay, pandas, um, scikit, okay, scipy, and matplotlib for the graphical representation, and so on. So these are all the libraries that we can use for different requirements, which is not there in any other programming language. That is why nowadays in each and every like big data Hadoop ecosystem, okay, they are using the Pycharm, sorry, the PySpark is the programming. So previously it was Scala and Java when we go with the MapReduce and all. But now, okay, exclusively they are using the PySpark programming language. And when you go for the machine learning, okay, here also they're using the Python programming language and artificial intelligence, AI, and the deep learning. Okay, everywhere they're using, and data science, of course. So everywhere they're using the Python programming language to develop the applications. So that is why it is not only a single a programming language like the Java. So you can develop some applications, the standalone applications and web applications by using Python. No, it is not like that. Of course, there is a chance to become a Python developer when you learn simple Python and some database. Okay, something like Oracle database. So then you can settle as the Python developer. This is the simple. Uh, uh, I mean, when you learn the Python and one database, anything like Oracle or MySQL, so your designation will be the Python developer. But when you learn the Python programming, there is a lot of other chances are also there that you can move into another other platforms. So that is why people are learning Python programming language is the basic programming language. Okay, even nowadays in CBSE syllabus also it has introduced. It is already there in CBSE syllabus. The basic or else the primary programming language is Python. So that is the importance of Python programming language. Okay, and we'll see few of Python features. What are all the features? Okay, so before going into the Python programming features, I just want to show you the environment which I'm using. So I'm using the environment called Pycharm and the Eclipse ID. Sorry, edit this Notepad++. Eclipse I'm using for Java. So environment that I'm using here is Pycharm and Notepad++. So Notepad++ to discuss the theoretical part and all. But for the programmatical approach, I'm not using any kind of edit plus and all. Okay, I'm using the real-time environment tool that is Pycharm IDE. Okay, so why I'm using the Pycharm IDE in the sense the students okay, maybe there may be a freshers and there may be experienced people. They need to be okay, they need to be familiar with this IDE so that in the real time also when you're going into the real time environment, they use the Pycharm IDE only. So there are a lot of things that we'll see in a practical sessions that okay, we'll create a project. Okay, this is the previous batch project. So here, okay, we are creating a project and in that we are creating packages. Okay, for each and every package, there are plenty of programs. So each and every concept will be discussed programmatically. Okay, so there is no kind of a theoretical sessions and all. Okay, so this is the first class. That's why I'm just giving the demo as a theoretical. But in my sessions, okay, it's not like the theoretical discussion. Exclusively that I'll discuss the programmatic approach. So you can see the typecasting, okay, the data types, each and every topic that I've discussed here, escape characters, exception handling, okay, and this is the basic program, hello world, flow control. So inside the flow control is the conditional statements, okay, iterative statements, and the transfer statements. I will show you the content as well. Okay, functions. You can see inheritance has a relationship, is a relationship. Okay, the types of inheritance, different types of inheritance, cyclic, hierarchical, hybrid, multiple, multi-level, and single inheritance and all. Okay, everything will be discussed in a practical approach. Okay, with the programs, inner classes, language fundamentals. This is the first topic in our uh, syllabus. So math modules, multi-threading, object-oriented programming, of course, operators, patterns, polymorphism, regular expressions, string data type. Okay, so this is just, I just want to show you the Pycharm IDE, okay, how we use and all. I'm not going to use the edit plus environment and all. Okay, why? Because I just want to show you each and every method that is present for each and every concept. For suppose if you take the data types, okay, there is a list data structure. Okay, when you are going with the list data structure, not only creating the list data structure, just we need to use the list data structure with the different kind of functions. Okay, that will see in another program. So these kind of programs that we'll discuss. Okay, this is the environment for PyCharm IDE. And of course, the theoretical part that I will discuss in Notepad++, so that the real-time environment can easily understandable by the students, so that when they are going into the real time, when they are going into the projects, so then directly they can use this PyCharm IDE. Okay, for Java, okay, we can use the IntelliJ IDE and Eclipse IDE is there, but Python we are using PyCharm IDE. So I will explain each and everything, how we'll create the project and all from the beginning. Okay, how to create the project, new project, and how we'll create the packages and how we'll create the programs. Okay, we'll discuss each and everything into this thing. So, and I will explain the PyCharm environment as well. All these things, edit, view, navigate, code, how to run the program and all. Okay, first we'll see. Okay, so here Hello World program, which is already there here. Okay, so even if I create, so how to create a program in PyCharm IDE in the sense, right click, new Python file, Okay, so here you need to give the program name or else the Python file name. So I'm writing first program .py. The extension that you need to give is .py. Okay, so new program has got it's created. So here I'm writing the first program is hello world program. So how to write the hello world in Python? Just by writing the print statement. We don't need to write any main method and class and all. So how to run this code in the sense, right click, okay, run first program one is there. Run first program one, the program name. So the output will be, okay, shown in the console. So here you can see the output in the console, that is the hello world. So this is the basic program. Okay, in this manner we try to write the programs and all. Okay, okay, so we see the Python features before before ending the session. We see some Python features as well. What are the features and why we are learning? What are the advantages by learning the Python programming and all? So as we discussed, it is the interpreted programming language. We can easily, okay, we can easily understand the Python programming language. Why? Why? Because Because we can directly convert the high level language into the machine understandable language. Okay, so the first feature we have, it is easy to learn and easy to write as well. So why it is easy to learn and write in the sense, of course, the Python is high level programming language. Python is high level programming language. Okay, it can easily understand the English like syntax. Whatever the syntax that, okay, that we are providing, directly it can able to understand, that we call it as English like syntax. So here we are giving some print statement. Okay, in Pycharm we are giving some print statement. So it is not going to convert again into the bytecode and all. Directly it can able to understand the print. Okay, what is the print function? Directly it can able to understand. Okay, that is why we call it as the high level programming language. And of course, the interpreter is involved here, does not convert, I mean, the high level programming language into the bytecode. Directly it can able to understand the English like syntax. That is why we can say we can easily understand, we can easily learn this Python when we compare with any other programming language. So in Java, as you know, it's a strict syntax is there. You should follow the syntax that you need to open the braces, close the braces, semicolon, naming conventions. A lot of things are there in Java programming, but in Python, it's not there. And the second advantage, the second feature of Python is improved productivity. Improved productivity. So what is the productivity? Why, how we look the productivity when it come in terms of the Python, in the sense, So when we don't have much complex syntax, okay, in Python, that is a big advantage. Okay, we can easily understand the syntax of Python. We can easily understand the syntax in Python. That is the biggest advantage that improves the productivity. Why? Because when we have the less code, when we have the less code, we can write and we can execute much faster when we compare to another programming language. And the processing speed also, the processing speed is very much high when we compare to other programming language. That in that way we can improve the productivity by using, okay, we can easily understand the syntax, and we can write the less code when we compare to other programming language. Okay, so that is the reason. And the other feature which is interpreted programming language. Interpreted programming language. So interpreted programming language, in the sense, as we have already discussed, inside the Python, it will execute the code. Okay, it will run the program line by line. Okay, it will execute the program, it will run, or else it will run the program line by line. And we don't have any conditions that we need to convert from high level language to the machine understandable code. So that is why we call it as the interpreted programming language. Okay, and here we have the debugging Python code is very easy. Okay, so debugging this Python code is very much easy when we compare to other programming languages. Why? Because the syntax is easier and we have lesser code. And the thing is, it runs, okay, it reads the program line by line. And where we got the error at that point of time, directly it is going to show through the error. So that is why the debugging also, it is very easy in Python programming language. And other feature, okay, we'll discuss all these features elaborately. I'm just discussing few points, but in the actual class we discuss the things in detail. Okay, so the next feature we have dynamically typed. Okay, so how we can say the dynamically typed? In the sense, whenever we are okay, doing a program on Java, just if you are declaring any integer kind of a variable, so first you need to write int, then variable name, and then you need to assign the value. Then you need to assign a value. This is the syntax to write, to assign any value in Java. Okay, but in Python, if you want to assign a value to a particular variable, we don't write we don't write the data type before the variable name. We don't write a data type before writing a variable name. that is called as dynamically typed in Python. So dynamically typed in the sense Python does not know the type of variable until we run the code. Python does not know the type of variable until we run the code. In the sense, we are just giving as an input var1 equals to 10. Okay, let me show you in Pycharm environment. Okay, I'm just declaring a variable name with var1 equals to, I'm assigning some value, which is 100. Okay, there is no semicolon and all. So the naming conventions and all that we'll discuss in upcoming classes. So var1 equals to 100. Simple. I'm not giving any integer kind of thing. Okay, I'm not giving any float kind of thing. So I'm not giving any data type before declaring a variable name. So after that, I'm printing this value. What is the value variable? That is the var1. I'm printing this variable, that is print of var1. Until and unless you run this program, okay, until and unless you run this program, the Python does not know what kind of a data type it is. Okay, what kind of a type of variable until you run this code. So you are assigning 100 in the sense, okay, when you run this code, okay, when you run this code, it understands, the Python understands, okay, which is the integer value that I'm assigning to the particular variable called var1. So it automatically it is going to assign the value without writing any data type. So that is why we call it as dynamically typed. So dynamically it will take based on the value. Python is going to take what kind of a data type it is. What kind of a data type it is. Of course, if you write 100.45, okay, when you put your cursor on top of this var1, okay, it is in a running state. So you have already saved the program. So when you put your cursor on top of the var1, which is the variable name, okay, it is showing that this var1 variable is of float data type. Got it? When you run, it will show you in a console that is the value is 100.45. When you remove this dot 45, the decimal point, and when you put the cursor on top of the variable 1, var1, okay, var1 is a variable name of type integer, of type integer. Okay, so dynamically it is changing the data type of this variable without mentioning that int and float before variable declaration. That is why we call Python is dynamically typed language. Okay, so what it will do in the sense, it will automatically assigns the value, assigns the data type during execution, during the program execution. So we are not going to worry about what kind of data type and how. So there is a code reduced, right? Okay, we are reducing the code by, okay, we are reducing the code by, I'm not writing the integer in between the variable name. So the code reducibility, when the code reducibility is there, the performance will increase. Okay, the execution time will be less in Python. When the execution time is less, the performance, okay, the time of execution will be very less. When the time of execution will be less, the processing speed will be very much high. So that is the reason, okay, the Python is very much fast when we compare to any other programming language. So it is dynamically typed, and it is open source, okay, free and open source, of course. So we can freely, you can use the Python. We can directly download from python.org website. Okay, we can directly download the Python software and we can install. So the installation part also, okay. So installation part that we'll discuss in upcoming classes, that will install the Python, okay, and we can also we will install the Pycharm IDE as well. So the Python software, that is 3.x, that is now I think the Python 3.9 and Pycharm. So you are going to do the real-time environment. So no need to worry about again learning in Edit Plus. Again, you need to convert into the Pycharm and all. Directly, we are going into the Pycharm. For the first few classes that we'll discuss Pycharm IDE, then we'll move into the programming part. Okay. So free and open source. Why we are saying free, and we are not going to pay anything to the python.org. So to this organization, we are not going to pay, okay, for using this Python software. So it is free and open source. Directly we can download from the python.org. And yes, as I said, like the vast library support is there. So one should learn these libraries as well. After learning the core Python and advanced Python, one should learn the libraries as well. Why? Because these are useful in different environments. So as I said, like NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Scikit, SciPy, Scikit, and etc. These are all the libraries that are present in Python to support different requirements. Okay, that's why Python is more, I mean, it is very famous nowadays. So other feature of Python, that is portability. So why it is portable language, in the sense we can install, okay, so this Python can run on different machines. So we can run on different operating systems, that is Windows operating system, okay, Linux environment. Okay, we can run this Python on different OSs, operating systems. So we have Windows, Linux, Mac OS, okay, and as well as nowadays they're using for the Raspberry Pi. Okay, and etc. So all these operating systems supports Python programming language, we can run on different machines. So we can write in one platform. So if you run, okay, if you write the program in one operating system, that is Windows operating system, so the same code that can be executed in Linux operating system. So that is why we call it as the portability. You can write once and run it anywhere on different operating system, different platforms. Okay, so these are the different Python features. Okay, but yeah, I will explain elaborately about these features and all. I just want to show you uh, the curriculum, that is the syllabus of this thing. So the firstly, duration of this course, as mentioned, this is the weekend batch. Okay, 5 weekends. We are going to take 5 weekend. So this is, I mean, today and tomorrow, just ignore. This is the demo sessions. So from the next weekend, we're going to start the actual classes, okay, by using the Pycharm IDE. So 5 weekend batch, and we are going to cover the syllabus. What is the syllabus that we are going to cover? Uh, I will show you. You can directly find the link over here. I think you can able to see the screen. Okay, you can also find the syllabus over here. Okay, DURGASOFT. Okay, DURGASOFT I mean inside the DURGASOFT website. So Python weekends. Okay, here you can find uh, the actual content. Okay, so here you can see language fundamentals. So the first thing that we are going to cover the language fundamentals, and in this language fundamentals, the basic introduction part and the features of Python. Okay, what are the limitations? Of course, there are some limitations for the Python as well, and Python versions. Okay, Python 1.x, 2.x, 3.x. So what are the differences for these versions? Identifiers, reserved words, data types. Okay, the data types, which is the core concept, an important concept in language fundamentals. What are all the data types are there? How the typecasting will be done? Okay, so base conversions and the slicing of strings and all. So escape characters and constants. So these things that we'll discuss in language fundamentals. And after that, we see the operators. Okay, different kind of operators are there. The symbols like plus, minus, star, equals, not equals, all these things. Arithmetic, relational, equality, logical, bitwise. Okay, shift operators, assignment, all these things that we'll discuss. And a mathematical module. So math module or mathematical functions. So these things we'll discuss in operators. And when it comes to the flow control, so I can say the heart of any programming language that resides in flow control. So inside this, there are different statements like the conditional statements, iterative statements, transfer statements. So inside this, we have if condition, if else, if I live, and for loop. while loop, okay, and break, continue, pass, all these things. So to iterate multiple times for one program and to check based on the condition, we need to execute the program. And I just want to break this, I just want to break the program at some point of time. So everything that resides inside the flow control. Okay, that's why which is very important. And the string data type. Okay, the string data type. So definitely we'll see the string data type and many of the functions that are present. Okay, the built-in functions that are present inside the string data type and how we are going to split the strings, okay, in multiple ways, and how we are going to join the strings, and we are going to changing the case, uppercase, lowercase, and all. So, and we are going to format the string as well. Everything will be discussed in this concept, and this is the most important thing, data structures. Okay, data structures in Python. Here we have the list data structures, tuple data structure, set data structure, and of course frozen set is also there, and the dictionary data structure. Okay, which are all come in the core Python. So this is the concept that we need to learn to write the heterogeneous elements in one data structure, and there are few features are there to write different kind of a data structures. We'll see the practical example for each and every concept. We use almost all functions that are present in the list data structure and all, and each and every data structure. Why? Because we are using the Pycharm IDE. So I will just show you the data structures and what are the methods are present. So here I'm just writing the list data structure and accessing the elements. Okay, when you just write L1 dot, a new window will be opened. Sorry, L1 dot. A new window will be opened. So here you can see the different kind of predefined methods: append, reverse, extend, insert, copy, clear, index, count, sort, each and everything that we are going to discuss. Okay, that is the advantage when we are using Pycharm IDE. Okay, people say that you can directly see when you are using Pycharm IDE, but that's not true. Okay, we can directly see what are all the methods that are present, and we get to hands-on. Okay, we get to use hands-on experience while we are using the Pycharm IDE. So this is why. And the data structures, of course, it is there, and the functions. So the built-in functions and the user-defined functions. There are some built-in functions are there, and we are going to define our own functions. Okay, that is why the name itself is called as user-defined functions. The name itself is called as user-defined functions. And the parameters, okay, return statements. So how we are going to write different kind of statements, like the recursive statements, anonymous lambda function, we call it as, okay, and we are going to filter the functions and all, how we are going to reduce the functionality and all, nested functions. Everything will be discussed under functions concept. The modules are all the modules that we are going to import into our program will be discussed into this, and the packages, how we are going to create the packages and all. Okay, and we see some pattern programs as well, and the OOPS concept, definitely, which is again the core concept. The OOPS concept is divided into, I think, four parts. Okay, first we discuss what is the class and object. Okay, what are reference variables, self variables, constructors, the types of variables. Okay, static variables, instance variables. Okay, all these things that we are going to discuss in detail. Okay, that will be covered, and the next part we see the inheritance concepts. First, we see the is a relationship, has a relationship, and then we'll move into the types of inheritance and all. And of course, we discuss the polymorphism, method overloading, and method overriding, and abstract method, abstract class, and interfaces in Python. Okay, and of course, exception handling. In Python, we handle the exceptions by using the try except, not the try catch, try except, by using the try except. Of course, finally block is already there. So try except finally, we discuss exception handling and file handling. So we are going to see different kind of files, how we are going to read and write the files by using the file handling concept. So we see different files, .txt files, okay, text files, CSV file, okay, some zip files and all. And multi-threading, okay. So the threading concept is also there in Python. So how we are going to create a thread and how we're going to run thread and how we are going to communicate the thread communication between two threads and all, that we'll see in threads concept. And the database programming to connect to any database, that we'll see into this concept. Mostly we connect with the Oracle database, and regular expressions to write some uh, credentials based programming by using the regular expressions and all, and decorator functions and the generator functions that we'll discuss. Assertions, okay, for the debugging purpose we use the assertions and all, and for the logging, so the logging purpose we use the Python logging, that will be discussed in this concept. So this is the core Python and advanced Python. Okay, this is the core Python and advanced Python. So the duration is the 5 weekends. The actual batch starts from the next weekend. Okay, hopefully you got the actual concepts of the basic programming kind of thing, and how, why actually we are turning into the Python programming language, what are the features, and what is the advantage if we learn Python programming language in future. Hope you got everything. So if you have any doubts, just let me know before closing the session. Just ask through the chat box. Okay. Manas, Smriti, and Trupti, ask anything if you have any doubts.
Sir, it is beneficial for data science study.
Definitely, it is beneficial for data science. So while working in the data science, like we need to work on the machine learning libraries. Okay, so there again, a different kind of approaches are there. Like we can use Java, we can use when we are using the big data, we can use the Scala also. But better to use the Python. Why? Because we have the libraries, the specific libraries are there. So which is recommend,
We are going to
okay,
we are going to
to
cover
use
all
the
those
Python
topics
as well.
required for data science. Hello, sir.
No, it's actually giving an idea. Okay, yeah, I'm giving an idea. these kind of a
Okay.
libraries are there and all. Okay.
Okay.
So if you want, I'll just explain the NumPy and pandas as the introductory part. After completion of the entire session, okay, entire course, I will let you know the NumPy and pandas introduction if you have that
Okay.
interest. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, my sir, I'm Manas.
Project related idea. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was
So you are
asking in
asking
five.
for the project related.
I was asking in 5 weekend
Yeah.
classes, all the whole course will be covered, right?
Yeah. The complete course will be covered. Core Python and Advanced Python. The complete thing will be covered in 5 weekends. In the sense,
Okay.
in the next weekend, from the next week.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah,
Sir,
the
will
timings
you
will be
issue
same.
this
Yeah.
certificate?
Well,
Sir?
yes, definitely.
Uh,
I think we need to check with DurgaSoft. So definitely they will provide the certificate as well uh, uh, from the DurgaSoft. Okay, you will get the certificate. That's not a problem, I think.
so can I get a job based on this basic and advanced Python?
Yes, of course. You need to learn, as I said, like you need to learn one database, that is Oracle database. Okay, so if you
Okay.
learn the Oracle database, then you can claim as Python developer. You can directly apply for the jobs. That's not a problem.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so hope you got everything. So we'll meet in the next weekend. Thank you very much.
So,
Thank you,
sir,
and
1 minute. What is the fee structure of this class?
yeah, yeah, that will be discussed by DurgaSoft. You can directly contact DurgaSoft here. Okay, you have the phone numbers. Okay, 9246212043 and 80969696. You can directly call them. You can ask the fee structure and all.
Okay, sir.
Uh, sir,
Okay.
sir, sir,
Tell me.
can we get any project related idea?
Yeah, it is designed in this manner, like advanced Python, the project related kind of thing that will be individual. Okay, that is not included in this core and advanced Python.
Okay.
So if you want project related uh, uh, the Python environment, that you need to take another course and maybe the individual course.
Okay, okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Bye. Will you meet in the
so we
next
are not going
weekend?
to conduct any project.
That's what I'm saying. If you want actually the project, the entire project, that the the different individual course is there that you need to attend the other course. You can browse in DurgaSoft. Okay, durgasoft.com. You can definitely you will get the Python project related course. So this course is specially designed for the core Python and advanced Python.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So anyway, you need to learn core Python and advanced Python, then only you will move into the project kind of thing. So that is why. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
I think,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. We'll meet in the next week. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, sir.